Apple Vision Pro needs a killer app. Will you be the one to make it? I'm Mike Festa, and this review is primarily for developers and content creators like myself. I've been using the Vision Pro for 2 months now and wanted to share my thoughts on what it's been like. Apple didn't invent spatial computing, but the Vision Pro combines all the hardware advances from the past decade into a sleek package with a software development platform that's built for scale. It feels reminiscent of past Apple endeavors that brought tech enthusiast products into the mainstream. This includes personal computers with the Macintosh, portable music players with the iPod, and of course the iPhone. The Vision Pro is not ready for the masses, but it's also worth remembering that the original iPhone didn't have an app store when it launched, and it took 2 years to get copy and paste. I believe that spatial computing is the future, but it's still probably 3 to 5 years from really taking off. I have over 20 headsets, and as far as hardware goes, this has the most premium feel and the best features. However, it's not the most comfortable. I may do a future video comparing some of these headsets directly. Let me know in the comments if you'd be interested. But for now, I just want to focus on the Vision Pro. My biggest issue with the design is the weight distribution. It's front heavy, and the head strap needs to be pretty tight to keep it locked to your face. I find that it starts to get uncomfortable after about 30 minutes, and I won't keep it on for more than an hour. To be fair, most VR headsets are uncomfortable, and though I've used some for over 4 hours straight, they're not really designed for that. They're best experienced in short bursts. However, this short time limitation is my biggest disappointment with the Vision Pro, and I'm not sure how many hardware iterations it's going to take before we get to an all-day device. But it won't be able to replace the iPhone until that happens. The quality of the optics, on the other hand, is great, and it doesn't give me eye fatigue when in immersive mode. The virtual screens are very sharp, and environments are so peaceful that I enjoy working here all the time if the weight of the device wasn't a problem. When it comes to seeing the real world through the cameras, it's good, but not great. There's not much distortion, but the image quality depends heavily on the amount of light in the room. It looks great in a bright space during the day, such as the demo I had at the Apple Store. But at night, which is when I typically use it, the image is grainy and it has a lot of motion blur. I can actually read text on my 43-inch monitor. However, it's not very clear, and virtual display is the way to go, at least as long as you have a Mac. That brings me to compatibility. Like most Apple devices, it works great with their own products, but not so much with those from other companies. For example, my Bose headphones don't show up in the Bluetooth discovery, and you have to go through an obscure process to connect them with a warning that they're not optimum. While on the other hand, the AirPod Pros work great and deliver spatial sound right out of the box. Logitech keyboards that don't have the Bluetooth receiver and only use the unifying USB receiver won't work. You can easily connect Apple's Magic Keyboard and Apple's Magic Trackpad, but there's no mouse support, Apple or otherwise. And all the game controllers that I tested worked, but they're pretty much just used for playing iPad games at this point. When connected to a Mac through the virtual display, you can use your computer keyboard and trackpad inside of other visionOS apps, which is a pleasant surprise and a great workaround for USB keyboards. I was also happy to discover that my M1 Mac Mini could be used as a virtual display, even without a monitor connected. This can be a more affordable option if you're just getting started with visionOS development, as a Mac is required. I do wish that more than one virtual screen was supported at a time, but you can have a separate Safari window open, which almost makes it feel like a dual screen setup. When it comes to the software, I'm really split between feeling disappointed and excited. For a product that has been so long in development, I expected the Vision Pro to ship with a lot more applications that demonstrate the potential of spatial computing. Maybe it's because I've been working in this industry for so long, but all I can see is missed opportunities with the native apps. Take for example the clock. They just dumped the iPad version on here in the compatible software folder. The clocks on the main screen of the app are barely even visible from the floating screen they're placed in. They should have had a nice looking 3D clock that can be placed spatially in your environment on your walls or desk. This is where I'm excited, because us developers can come to the rescue. In fact, I ended up making my own free clock as the first app that I published in the store. Let me know in the comments if you'd like me to make a video showing how it was done. The Photos app is another example of a missed opportunity. Sure, the spatial photos shot on an iPhone 15 or captured from the headset are impressive, but the app experiences feel very 2D. Why isn't there a digital picture frame with your wall or desk? Even a simple 2D digital picture frame would have sufficed. but it could have gone further to show the spatial content as holographic images like the looking glass portrait does in the real world. The one that bugs me the most is the music app. Again, Apple just shoved a 2D interface as a floating screen and called it a day. They sell a physical speaker, the HomePod, so I can't believe they wouldn't include a 3D model of it that you could place in your room to utilize the spatial audio of the iPod Pros they want you to invest in. To me, that feels like it would have been the bare minimum, but it could have been a showcase for a lot of cool effects that utilize your environment. In the pre-iPod days of the 90s, we had a really cool visual music player called Winamp. A spatial version of that would be amazing, and I hope that one of you will make it. Strangely, I found the most impressive content, which is primarily what I ended up demoing to friends and family, to be VR 180 videos. This type of content isn't new, but the high quality of these screens and the spatial audio really makes it stand out, putting IMAX to shame.
Wow, this is amazing. This is just incredible.
This is the future of movies, and it reaffirms my investment in the Canon VR 180 lens. Unfortunately, I can't easily view my own VR 180 content on the device. You can't drag and drop to play the files, and it needs to come through an app, where YouTube VR isn't even available yet. Speaking of demos, this is another area that needs improvement. Not so much as in-store demos, but after you buy one and want to show it to your friends or have people test your app. I went through the demo at the Apple Store, and they have a very nice experience. They have a good script that goes through most of the features in about 20 minutes. If you haven't tried a Vision Pro yet, I highly recommend signing up for an in-store demo. It was only after trying to show it to people at home that the issues first came to light. First of all, it's clear that the Vision Pro is designed as a personal device for a single user. Only one Apple ID can be used, and it's unlocked with an iris scan or a passcode every time you put it on. Although Apple will sell you an additional light shield for $200 to fit a different face, it's not practical for two people to share a device because you can't have any additional profiles. You can put it in guest mode after unlocking it yourself, but then it has to be put on the other person within 5 minutes, so you have to be there to share it. It will adjust the lens spacing automatically, which is really cool, but it then makes the guest go through a fairly long eye and hand tracking setup where they have to look at 18 dots. If they take it off for any reason, such as when my friend was freaked out by some dinosaurs, they have to go through the whole process again.
Good joke.
Keep it back on quick though, we're gonna have to do the recalibration.
Passcode.
Oh no!
Oh no, it's fine.
Fortunately, you can stream their view to another device, which makes it a lot easier to guide them through the new interface. But unfortunately, it has DRM issues. It took a lot of trial and error to figure out why the headset would go black when trying to show my mom some immersive videos on Apple TV+. It turns out that the screen mirroring needs to be disabled to watch certain content, but Apple doesn't show any message stating that, just a black screen. And once mirroring was turned off, I couldn't talk her through the steps to turn it back on without taking the headset off and going through the whole eye tracking setup again. I've given a lot of VR demos over the years, and this is really going to limit our ability as developers to test our content with other users who don't own their own Vision Pros. If you're familiar with iOS development, you'll be happy to know that making apps for the Vision Pro is very similar to other Apple devices. You use Xcode as the development environment and Swift as the programming language. There's some new concepts around spatial windows and immersive views, but I found it to be pretty straightforward overall. I didn't have a lot of Swift experience because most of my previous iOS development was years ago. After using Swift for a few months, I really like it a lot. Where Apple's development ecosystem really stands out is with the SDKs available. For example, ARKit handles room scanning and environment awareness really well because it's been evolving on iPhone and iPad for 7 years. The ability to pull in contextual information about surfaces and furniture in your environment is what's going to power the most amazing spatial experiences. Hand tracking also works really well, and as a developer, it's great to not have to worry about all the complex computer vision going on under the hood. I'm excited that you can also use the Unity game engine to build apps, but I still need to try it for myself. Last year, I built a quest game called Paint Fiesta in Unity, and it could be greatly enhanced by the room segmentation features of ARKit. In conclusion, we have the opportunity to create the experiences of the future, and there's a wide open field of possibilities. Unlike the 2D App Store, which has become saturated, there's a lot of room for novel experiences, even if it's still a little early to make much money. Let me know in the comments if you'd like me to do a video about the economics of being an independent developer for an emerging platform. With every dramatic shift in technology, billion-dollar companies are born. Apple and Microsoft got started with a personal computer, Google and Amazon with the internet, Facebook and Netflix with Web 2.0, and Uber and King with smartphones. Who knows what companies will be born in the advent of spatial computing? It could be yours. Subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comments what you'd like to see next.